Welcome to Long Beach, California. Today we're visiting ABC companies here in America. And today we're going to test drive this brand new Van Hool Cx45. Welcome on board the Van Hool Cx45. Now we are sitting in this American version. And look here, we have the seatbelt. It's mounted in the chassis. You can get it both mounted in the seat, but this version has the seatbelt mounted in the chassis. Somehow I feel not attached to the seatbelt somehow. I feel like this is something just here. So personally, I don't like this way of working, but that's probably something you also get used to. I'm used to this pressure on my shoulder, but that's not here. We have the steering wheel like we're used to from the European models as well. Of course, this is built in Europe, so that's why. But we have some different options right here. We have the Allison transmission. We have a completely different way to start the vehicle on. We have a button and a master ignition. We don't have the key like we're used to. This coach have a split front window, and this is the American standard of how a coach or a bus should be built. And that's convenient because if you get a crack on the one side, you just replace the one side, and it's also a lot cheaper to replace the front window. And we also have some different kind of ways of doing the side windows here. We have this pole going down here, and this is a safety reason. You will make a stronger construction here in the driver's area. The only thing I don't like with it is that you actually lose sight from the mirror. There is 1/3 of the mirror I actually lose if I'm sitting correctly in my seat, but I also have my wide angle mirror on the top that will make it easier to see the spots I'm losing. So we have one big standing mirror and a wide angle mirror on both sides of the coach. And here we have this manual window here. You can open it up so you can say hi to your colleagues. And here on my right we have a screen that you can have navigation, you have a backing camera, and you also have the radio and the entertainment system. And on here to your right you have buttons like you're used to. The door button is a red button here on the top, and there is only one button because there is only one door. But the easy thing here on this coach is the air conditioning system. For the driver there is only 2 turning knobs. You can choose from 1 to 10 in the fan, and you also have red or blue on the heat. And for the passenger compartment, you have temperature buttons, and everything is digital here in the screen. So you just push up and down, and the fan up and down. It couldn't get easier than that. You can have 2 different options of engine on this coach. One from Cummins, that's on 455 horsepower, and that's the Cummins X12. Or you can have the Detroit diesel, the double D13 engine at 450 horsepower. That's the one that's standing in this coach right now. This coach have an Allison B500 6-speed automatic gearbox and a rear axle delivered by Denne. For me, I think this is a quite nice working area. I see what I have to see. I have good vision to my right, I have great vision in front, and I almost have great vision to my left. On my right, we have this compartment covering me a little bit here. It's a bit narrow to get in and out of my driving position. Otherwise, I think it's quite okay actually. So I think I could enjoy sitting here to drive this coach. Let me take a look behind the bus and see how the passengers are doing inside here. Then I'm comfortably seated in one of the keel seats here on board. And it's actually 56 seats on board this Van Hool. And here we have a 3-point seat belt, and that's now mandatory here in America. And that was only mandatory for only a couple of years ago. Before that, they didn't even have to wear a seat belt. But the problem here is nobody is using the seat belt in the US. And that's also a problem because the speed limits here are a lot faster than in Europe. So if there will be a crash, the consequences can be severe. Statistically, there is only crash with fatalities involved between 4 to 5 years in between, so the statistics are quite good here in the US. But anyway, use the seatbelt guys, it can save life anyway. So here we are seated in this Van Hool, and I would say that I like this panel above my head. We have the logo here quite nicely, we have the air ventilation above my head, and we have some great lights. Now it's turned on from the driver's side, so that's still working, but I like the blue colors on the panel, and I really like how everything looks. And we also have a different emergency exit system here compared to the Europeans. Here you can just drag, I will not do it right now, here we can drag the handle down and the window will be able to be pushed out. The seats are quite nice and simple. I think they're comfortable, but I would probably like to have a little bit more comfort if I were supposed to sit here for very many hours. You can lean the seat a little bit behind, but there is no table in front of you and there is no seat pocket in front of you, but you have a little footrest. As you can see, there is no middle or back door in this vehicle, so there is a lot of space for seats here, and that makes a high capacity vehicle. And here we have screens. It's actually quite a lot of screens in here, and you also have good space for luggage or hats, as they originally were built for. All the way in the back we have a quite big toilet. We only have 2 back seats, and that makes a wider toilet here in the back. So we have a toilet and we have a sink, quite easy and convenient to use. And here on my right to your left we have a wheelchair door. So here we can take away these 2 seat rows, and then we can lift in a wheelchair with a lift, and then we also have capacity for 1 wheelchair on board this coach. All the drivers get courses to handle and operate the lift for the wheelchair, but sometimes there is a long time between you actually use them. So maybe one day you will stand there with a passenger with a wheelchair, and then you will have your manual here how to actually do that. And here we also have something we don't have in Europe. We have a belt cutter, we have a good place for it, and we also have the handle for the emergency opener, so you have to come back here to open it up if there is an emergency and you need to open the door. This is the one and only entrance and exit on this coach, and in America that's been used for many years. There is only 1 door on the coaches here in this country, and now companies, bigger companies, are starting to see the advantages of having 2 doors. Companies like Google, like Apple, having big companies here in the country, and they are using buses for shuttle back and forth between companies to cities, and now they're seeing that there is more efficient ways of making people coming in and out of the vehicles. But still there is a lot of companies here in the US that still only want to use the 1 door, because they are living with the old tradition that the driver should tell every passenger that walks out of the coach, watch your step. So now let's hit the road. But we are not allowed to drive here in America because of the driver license. You need to have another kind of driver license here to drive public roads. So now let's hand over this vehicle to our professional driver. Say hello to Charlie.
I'm Charlie Walser. I'm with ABC Companies. I started in the Minnesota facility, which was a main headquarter corporate office, in 1986, which brings me up, I believe this is about my 37th year. Consistently with ABC. I've always been in sales. I believe in the Van Hool product for several reasons. One is ABC has always been sales oriented. Taking care of the customer afterwards, during, and being able to make good, quick decisions when you're only dealing with a family. I mean, I can call 1 guy and I can get any answer for anything that I want to do. When you work for major corporations, that might be a little harder to do. I don't know. I'm only imagining because I've been here for so long. The bus is very responsive. Once you get used to the size and how high you're sitting, it's not much more in the car other than the fact when you make corners, you've got to worry about your overhang where it swings or how far back your axle is before it goes over that curb. The steering wheel I don't like the big truck steering wheels. It makes me feel like I'm driving a truck or a tractor. I did that as a boy. I'm from a family farm. Independent front suspension, which means both wheels can behave on their own. It's not rigid where they both have to go, and we've been independent ever since the beginning. My airbags are wider stance than my competitors. They're further out to the edge, so if I would stand straight like this, you can push me over pretty easy, but if I spread down or out further, it gives me more stability in the wind. Acceleration is great. The engines nowadays are so much quieter than the two-stroked engines. Two strokes meaning 2 strokes and that was a repetition, and they would do 2 strokes again. These are 4 strokes, so it takes 4 strokes to make 1 repetition. The mirrors are fine. I like the open glass up front here. Actually, and I don't know why, but this is how I'll explain it. For some reason, I believe we get better fuel economy than our competitors with a Cummins engine, and we have a Cummins engine, with a transmission, Allison, and they have an Allison. It's like 2 people dance better together than someone else dancing with another person. And for some reason, with my rear end and my whole setup, the way this engine and transmission dance or perform together, I think is second to none. It feels good. If I'm going to go here to the Grand Canyon, I'm not going to jump on a bus that goes here to the Grand Canyon. I'm actually going to jump in my car. Americans are drive me myself people. There's no doubt. LA's got no decent mass transit. You'll see so many single people in cars on the freeway that we're not bus-oriented people. Europe, you know, everything's closer together. You know, one of our states is the size of one of your countries. People that are riding the buses aren't necessarily mainstream America people. They are a lot of times travelers, a lot of times elderly because they don't want to drive themselves. They want to have the bus stop at some little cafe, and then have a stop at Grand Canyon, and then have a stop at the hotel. I would wager to bet that if you go to the Grand Canyon and watch all the people get off, they're going to be elderly people. Well, they're a little close to my age, but.
Thank you so much for seeing this video here today. And if you like our content, even here from America, please press the subscribe button to see all our future videos here from Bussmagasinet. And until next time, have a great day and take care. Drive safe.